Jos Duchamp, thank you. It's an honor and a pleasure to have you here with us today.
Nice meeting you here. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you so much. So we are going to talk about workplaces. And the workplace has changed dramatically over the last 30 years. And the COVID experience has put it through in a very speedy way. So from the perspective of managers and particularly HR area, which is our audience today, the challenge now is to create new models that are attractive enough to make the commute worthwhile. As you say, if people come to the office, they have to come with a goal. So my first question to you is, are offices no longer places where we go only to work?
Yeah, it's if you look back on the office, if you look into the knowledge worker, so the office was in the past a platform where you had all the components to do your knowledge work.
Yeah.
So your telephone was there, your files were there, your typewriter, afterwards the computer was there, but also the information and your colleagues were there. So if you had to perform your work, you had to go to the platform, what we called the office.
Yeah.
Today, this is not the case anymore. So all the components I mentioned, they are available everywhere. So the office is no longer anymore that platform, but should become a platform for people to collaborate. And also as organizations were changed using the old platform from a model that is completely changed today. Also there, the working environment plays a very important role. And that's why we as consultants in the working environment really try to connect to the new organizational models, to connect to the new generations, and to good understand how they work together, what are the needs, and actually create new types of platforms where people can come to the office to do other things than only the traditional work. And so it's becoming some kind of, let's say, a community platform where people maybe from one organization, but maybe also from different organizations, come together and collaborate there, and also can contribute by having in this mixed setting, contribute to the goals and the strategy.
We were also showing the slide where you had the hybrid paradox, where we saw there was this fine fine point between this. That's where the
and this is what organizations are struggling with today. So how much autonomy you give to the organization, and if you look back to traditional organizations, maybe, and if you want to achieve the goals. So it's between balancing on the autonomy.
It's this sweet, this perfect spot that you are finding.
Yes, that's what we try to achieve.
That's perfect. So this is another question that I have to you. There is a reluctance from the HR perspective to link technology and people. Do you agree with this?
But one of the speakers before the coffee break, he was talking about it's technology, a strength, force, or it's more a limitation. I'm convinced of the fact that that we need to adopt these technologies, and it's not only the HR people, but it's also the facilities management people. As I was saying with the platform, so the difference in platform, it was enabled by technology. So there is, in my perspective, no other way than adopting this technology. Today, we're able to manage the headquarters of BNP Paribas in Brussels, where this is a building for 4,000 people, for 4,000 workstations are in the building. But there work 8,000 people, and they work in a hybrid model. But if the 8,000 people come at the same time, the building is too small. So having the technology, managing this is actually fully integrated in the model and is really supporting also the entire organization. So in my perspective, there is no other way than adapting the technology, integrating it in the models, and from there we connect to the working environment.
Okay, definitely, yes. And you were talking precisely about facility management, which has a strategic role, as you were saying, with BNP Paribas. So it's not just a nice to have. It goes beyond managing a space to make it functional. It influences culture, employer branding, and sustainability and costs. So about the impact and the real impact of not addressing facility management as just a nice to have, can you share with us the costs and the real impact of what can happen if you don't address it in a more strategic way?
I will start first with quoting Winston Churchill.
Oh.
When in the Second World War, part of the House of Commons was destroyed due to bombings in 1943. And they were discussing on how to rebuild this. And Winston Churchill said, actually, we are shaping the buildings, and afterwards, the buildings are shaping us. Oh. So he already understood that the built environment, including the work environment, has a big impact on human beings and how one person behaves, how he feels, how teams work together. So you can initiate informal meetings. You can initiate how people move in buildings. This is an old church chapel, so it's built for that purpose. Today, we're using it in another way. So the facilities management is a strategic component supporting the people, the teams, but also the entire organization. So it is part of the strategic plan what organizations will do. And if you look, you're asking for costs. If you look into the total costs of buildings and of organizations, so the HR component is the biggest one. If we talk about white collar, so office buildings, so we're not talk about the industry. So the HR cost is the highest. The second highest is the facilities management. So that includes rent of the space or depreciation of the buildings. It includes the hard services, so energy, everything related to the building, the technical installations, but also includes the soft services. And we talk about, depending on the countries, 400, 500, 600 euro per square meter per year. And if we look there into hybrid models, we're taking the Lisbon area for office, commercial office buildings. So excluding education, excluding governmental. So about 300,000 white-collar people are working in commercial offices in Lisbon area. So if we put facilities management there in a strategic component and say, okay, if we really want to adapt these buildings towards the reality we have today on the hybrid model, people working from home 2 or 3 days. So from these 300,000 people, suppose we have 300,000 workstations. 50% of them, they can work remotely or work in the hybrid model. So from the 50%, we can take away 50% of the workstations. So this is 75,000 workstations that you can take away. Multiplied by 6,000 euro a year, it's 450 million euro that we can save if we adapt the working environment towards how organizations, how people work today. It's a huge amount of money. So facilities management should level up and talk to the CEO and say, okay, we're able to support the goals of the organization much more than we do today.
Okay. Procos Group is part of the Adaptive Office, the ADOF project, which is a 3-year research initiative that will end in 2028. and it's supported by the Information Technology for European Advancement. So the project brings together 8 partners from Belgium and Portugal, and we are working towards a common goal, which is reimagining the modern office to better serve its users. So I would like you to, if you could share with us some information about this project and how is the study progressing?
Yeah, so the goal, as you're mentioning, the goal of the project is to find a model to adapt the office. Not we create the office today and we wait for 5 years and we adapt it to the new situation. No, we try to create a model to have actually so that we can manage the working environment as a dynamic system. Because as we said before, organizations are changing, needs of people are changing. So in the project, we focus actually on three strategic streams. The first one is about the layout. So the layout of offices is changing. Related to your first question, the office is becoming a place for people to meet and to collaborate.
Okay.
So we need to see how young people leaving Nova University, how they come into the working environment. So my kids are between 20 and 30 years old. So they're coming now into the working environment. So they look into the working environment differently as we do. So they want to see that this adapts. So the first level is the layout. The second level is control. So where we connect really to the building and to building management systems that you can adapt the humidity, temperature, much more related to what's happening on the floor. And the third component is really the personal impact, so that we look into the individual workstation, how we can connect also there to systems that make actually this cocoon really applicable of what you're doing. And so one of the partners is a lighting company, so that where we can integrate specific lighting that connects with apps and connects with how you feel. Also there, we are doing experiments with ceiling panels that can lower or can inclinate it so that you can really create your own cocoon depending on what you're doing. So, and actually based on these components, we are trying to close the loop and say, okay, we have now this type of office environment. People can change it. We collect data, so we have evidence. And based on that, we do the adaptation of the office. And so that we become in some kind of system that is running, and it's not static, but it's really dynamic. And that's the goal. So happy to share the results in 2 years.
I'm very curious to know about it. Yes, that would be very interesting. Yes, so, and also could you share with the audience some examples of your projects, of Procos projects, and the operational level of interaction, which you had already shared now with that thing of the cocoon and the lighting, the kind of projects that you are doing a lot.
So we were involved in project, for example, with AGS, in Belgium, where we did the headquarters, but also in Lisbon and Porto, where we were trusted advisor for AGS to find the building that suits the needs of the organization already from the early beginning. Because if you create the wrong architecture of the building, it's very hard to modify it towards.
And I'm curious, when you're talking about cocoons, you talk about for a person or for just you work in your own cocoon? Like a working station? Yeah. Which is this is like a trend?
But the cocoon is in the research project.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's weird. We're defining the parameters, and we're working on this, because it should also be manageable. So if you don't have the technology that is able to manage this, it's very difficult. So we have some test environment where we're working with the cocoons, but based on the results.
But also it could be other kind of environments where people would like to share with cocoons is very individual, but there are other kinds of environments where people would like to be with others.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And also there about the avatars and AI.
Yeah.
And so we try to identify how this also could play a role. So because, okay, we meet now in person, but we could also meet via avatars. We could meet via other things. So we tried, because we need to connect to the new generation. So they're very much used to this, and so we need to see how this can contribute to the project.
Yes, I would like to hear, just for a last thought, technology is here and we cannot ignore it. And speaking about the future and avatars and the new people force, I would like to hear what, in your perspective, in terms of leaders and leadership, would be the essential skills for a leader to have, especially in HR. What would be...
So it's dangerous now. That's a dangerous question, because I'm an engineer, so I'm in the working environment. Our team so I'm in the field of HR people. So I give just my view on this. So it's also how we look into our company, and as I see look into the clients we're working for. It's these people have, let's say, the coaching skills. So they're in between the people, and it's not managing only the process. It's on looking at and it's not only by KPIs. It's about it's keep people interested. So these are the KPIs that you need to have as a leader in the organization. Be flexible. So looking to what is going on in the world, and bring this from outside into organization. And that's what I see so our clients are corporate organizations. So they're very closed. So related to the information, everything is secured, it needs to be, and today with cybersecurity, it's very difficult to get, we're running out of time.
It's flashing.
So everything is very closed. But we see that in these large organizations, innovation is coming from sharing with other companies. And that actually these large corporates, they bring in some kind of innovation centers with different companies, so that people can get out of the boundaries. And managing this in the future, this is a challenge. But I think that's the future for the leaders.
Thank you so much, Jos Duchain. It was a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you
so
very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.